So I'm very excited to be here with my lovely coaching client, Jean. And I first connected with Jean at the end of March 2024 when an email appeared in my inbox. And it started with, "Dear Adam, I am usually highly skeptical about coaching." At which point I saw this flash up in my thing. I was like, "Oh, I'll deal with that on later." I'm happy to say when I eventually got round to looking at it, it concluded by saying, "I'm usually highly skeptical about coaching, but I attended your group coaching taster workshop last night, and I have to say it really resonated deeply with me. Thank you so much." And here we are today, 5 months later. And I'm really honored to have Jean here because her story over the last 5 months and the change and the shift she has made are really quite profound. And I've not seen many people change as fast and as deeply as she has. And she would have gone faster, I think, if I let her have her way. That's one of the things we've had to work on. Jean is an investment management finance person. Is that right?
That's accurate.
She had the big job, the big title, the status, and all of that brings with it. And I'm just so happy to hear your story today because I think it's going to resonate very deeply with the people that are watching. So Jean, just give us some background. First of all, thank you for being here. Give us some background to who are you? Where have you come from? What's your journey been up to the point that you met me, first of all, and then we'll pick it up from there.
Yeah. First of all, thank you for having me. It's an honor, and thank you for the introduction. I don't actually remember saying that in that email, so it's nice. Yeah, it's nice to be reminded of that. Where I've come from. So, to give a bit of background for everyone, I'm from Singapore. I grew up there, and then I came to the UK in 2012. I did my master's, and very lucky to get the job. I started out as an accountant, trained as an accountant, and I have been building my career in finance for the last 10 plus years.
Okay.
So just to give you a flavor about what I was like at work, people used to call me Jean the Machine. Someone actually coined the nickname for me. They called me the Weapon. I think they meant that as a compliment.
It depends where you...
Yeah, but it's from a work perspective. So it probably gives you a flavor about how I was like at work. I was probably very intense. I was very good at my job. I got stuff done. And if people got me to do some work, I would get it done in a very good amount of time. So that went on for a very long time. And even, I would say, back when I was a student, I was doing a lot, studying a lot, making sure that I got the best grades I could get in order to, I thought, to make my parents proud, to make them feel like, okay, they've done the right thing, they've put the right amount of investment in me, and now it's time for me to show them that I've made it. So that idea of making it then defined how I thought about my life and how I behaved subsequently. Yeah, as you can probably tell already, I was a workaholic. I was working really, really hard to prove to others that I'm doing the right things. And I was trying my absolute best to impress other people, but I didn't know consciously back then what that was about.
Yeah.
So I kept going. It felt like I was chasing different goals all the time. When I say different goals, it's like a step up. So for example, I could get promoted very quickly. Then immediately I would go for the next promotion. I would go for the next title. I would go for bigger job, bigger title, more money. And it felt like, as I said, a moving goalpost. It's never enough. I got to a point where I felt really empty. I felt like my life was slipping through my fingers, exactly that, as I discussed with my partner. I felt that even when I was in my so-called dream job, in my last place, which, as you said, was I was the vice president finance in this management company. It was a startup. We worked really hard. It was very intense, but it was very gratifying to grow a company. So I took that intensity to another level. So in actual reality, it was that I wasn't working as long as other people, but I couldn't switch off. And so that led to burnout. Burnout really hit me very, very hard. I pulled to a stop and I just couldn't go on anymore. So that was when I quit my job. And last year was October last year.
Okay. So we're in August now.
Yeah, we're in August now. So I spent a month taking a break. I thought a month would be enough to rest, recuperate, get back into the swing of things, maybe go for that bigger job in another field of finance. I was considering a role in like doing proper investments, but clearly that wasn't really what the problem was, which I'm sure we'll go into it a lot more later. I started picking up new skills to further my career. I started learning how to code. I started trading. I started putting them together, and I started putting together like a trading system for myself, because there's a part of me that was so desperate to fill up that void, that career void. So as when we met for the first time, I described my life as a tabletop.
Yeah.
So my life as a tabletop had 3 big legs, for example: health, relationships, and work. Of course, there are other subcategories within each of them, like spirituality, like careers, exercise,
yeah,
money, etc., etc. But to simplify things, I was leaning a lot on the work leg in that table of life. I wasn't speaking to my family. My relationship with my fiance was under a lot of pressure because I put a lot of pressure on myself to find the next thing. I wasn't taking care of my health. So at work, because I was unhappy at work, it was the nature of the work that really drove me into burnout, I felt. Because I was unhappy at work, I used alcohol to numb myself. So I was suppressing those unhappiness. And over time, they build up. And, then that's how I got into burnout. So that table of life, because I pulled out that work leg, and my relationship leg was very wobbly, so was my health. I wasn't exercising a lot or as much as I would have liked. I felt like my life was falling apart. It really did. And it was New Year's Eve. I contemplated suicide. I thought about just ending my life because, the year is ending. My life is ending. I am of no use to anyone. I have no purpose. I don't know what I'm doing with myself. On top of that, I had this ego of, I used to be this really big high achiever. Everyone knew me as that high achiever. I didn't feel like I could speak up, or in other words, I wasn't brave enough to tell them my truth And that's a big challenge throughout my journey. Well, luckily that didn't happen. My fiance came in and he reassured me that he still loves me despite everything, and he still wants to be with me. I wouldn't want to be with me at that point in time, but he still wants to be with me. So that gave me hope.
Yeah.
I resolved to then change my life. So 31st of December 2023, I was about to take my own life. The next day, I resolved to change my life. I went 180 degrees. But I didn't know where to start. So I threw myself into everything I could possibly do to change my life. So everything you could find on Instagram and sort of social media. Wake up at 5 a.m, go and run, go exercise, go journaling, do meditation, no alcohol, live a disciplined life, no social media, ironically, and no TV. Yeah, like live that monk mode life. I did that. I did that for 3 months. And during that period, I was also pursuing, I was building on my coding skills. I was trading even more. I was doing a lot of things in those two fields. So what I didn't realize at that point in time is that my state of mind was exactly the same as when I was working back in finance. I was taking my my workaholic state from my old job into my career break.
Yeah.
So that is incredibly ironic. And I burnt out again on a career break. So yes, there were benefits. There were, from waking up early to exercising more regularly. Yes, there were benefits from doing all those good stuff. But my ethos of do or die, all or nothing, go big or go home, those words, they were toxic for me. I had to change something else completely. I needed to change what I would call as my operating blueprint, which is made up of how I think, which then leads to how I behave. But underneath all of that, as I realized only fairly recently, is a set of belief system that was built from way back since childhood.
Yeah.
That was when we met.
Wow.
Online. Yeah.
Wow. What an amazing articulation of your story to that point. Gene the machine. Sometimes you can see it glimpses. It comes out very occasionally.
Yeah.
But now you're so different, so smiley, more relaxed. You are like a different person in from when I met you, and I know you've been through a ton of stuff prior to that.
Yeah.
So, having been highly skeptical about coaching, you signed up nevertheless.
I did, yes.
Thank you for that. And what was the journey for you of coaching? What did we need to address? You talked about the table and the imbalance and the shakiness. How, looking back on it now, how did we progress what needed to be dealt with, and how did we do that?
Yeah, sure. I would describe my progress as a form of metamorphosis. Like, you know how a butterfly, it's like from a caterpillar, it would then evolve into a cocoon, and they would evolve into a butterfly. That's the life cycle. I felt like the process, even though it has only been 4 to 5 months, I've gone through that process already. I feel like at the start, there was a lot of tears. All of the suppressed emotions needed to come out. Everything needed to come out. I needed to work from grounding up, basically. So yes, there was a lot of grounding work to do. And in order to do the grounding work, I had to face my darkest and deepest fears, my childhood trauma. We had to go all the way back there to face them right there and then and stop running away from them. And that process was, yes, it's not easy. Well, it's extremely difficult. But that gave me so much more strength and courage to do something else that I wouldn't have thought of doing in the first place. We'll get on to that, I guess.
Yeah, can't wait for that.
Yeah. So my fears and traumas, of course, because I'm still quite new to the process, I started building, going back to the table analogy, I started building up my health. I started building up my relationships. We talked about how I wasn't talking to my family. I started talking to them. To get to the point of texting them was so tough. And some people would think, oh, it's just texting your family. And what's so difficult about that? It was so difficult for me because the big part of me was telling them my truth. That's the big challenge for me. I'm not that person anymore. I'm someone else. I don't know exactly who I am. I'm still finding that out. And I found this whole narrative really difficult for me to express.
It really was. I remember.
Mm-hmm. And so we worked on the feeling process, and well, I guess we will talk about this. Mick, do you want to talk about the feeling process?
Well, no,
I can do.
Let's go over and explain it a bit later. It's just basically it's the key process we use that will help you change how you feel about different situations, different people, or different things that happen to you. And you just lean into it and you feel it.
Yeah.
That's it in a nutshell. Sounds so simple that everyone kind of thinks, what? Come in. But it's dramatically effective, right?
Yes. And I would add on, it sounds simple, but it is not easy. Facing my own fears and traumas from my childhood entails really feeling the feelings and not running away anymore. And that in itself is it's big and it's so powerful. So we did that. I was a complete mess, wasn't I? You saw me.
It really saw you.
I cried so much. I cried for every day for months, every day. And there were many days that I cried. I locked myself in the toilet. I would cry for hours. Yeah, it was that big of a deal for me. But I have since stabilized, which is a good part of the story. But I had to go through that catharsis in order to get those emotions out. We talked about suppressed emotions. I had to get everything out in order to build myself again. I had to peel off those layers in order to grow them out again, the real me. So that has been a big journey.
Yeah. Amazing. And look, most people spend their whole lives running away from that. Hiding in work, exercise, alcohol, drugs, hobbies, socializing, you name it. You can hide it even in doing the work, which is a really interesting one. Many people are stuck on hiding in being spiritual and healing and changing their lives.
Yeah.
But you came out the other side. You sat in it. And sometimes you need someone to help you with that.
Yeah.
Coach to kind of be in front of you and to point in the right direction. But you did it. And I mean, massive respect to you. It was really hard.
There are obviously a few things, well, a few people that I'm grateful for in this process. Obviously, working with you has really transformed my thinking. And also my fiance has been such a big pillar of support during this time. Yes, he triggers me sometimes, but they are all perfect. It's because these are things that I need to work on. Like, my emotions are mine, and I need to take responsibility for them. And I've learned that very well during the process.
Yeah, that's a powerful statement, isn't it? And people don't realize that. It's so much easier to blame it on someone else or on the situation or on politics or the government.
Yeah.
As you know, it's only how you feel in yourself, and you are the only one who controls that ultimately. And you change that, then you change your whole perspective. You change how you feel. You change how you be liked.
Yeah.
Which is all of which you've done.
Yeah.
In just 5 months. It's crazy.
Yeah. In just 5 months. Maybe we can talk about how I've changed as a person.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So previously we talked about how I was unable or unwilling to express my truth to other people. And a lot of that has got to do with a certain identity that I built for myself over the years. That identity I've struggled with for a long time. Growing up in Singapore, there had been a lot of influences, and much like everywhere else, a lot of influences that change my way of thinking and therefore affect how I think and how I behave. So I was always of the mindset that I needed to make it in order to be accepted. Mm-hmm. But underneath those feelings and fears,
is that a family pattern, would you say, or a Singapore cultural thing, or a bit of both?
It's a bit of both. It's a combination of those two, and also from myself, pressure from myself. Yeah, because I wanted to be recognized. I wanted to be out there. Yeah, and that's why I defined my self-esteem with my career. But that was what was easier for me, instead of facing what I was really afraid of.
Yeah, and if you don't know, you don't know. Yeah. And we talked many times. I had almost identical patterns and stuff to you. You remind me of myself so much, what you've been through. So if you don't know, you're just going to go and do what everyone else is doing, and then you get lost in that. And luckily for us, we got unplugged from the matrix, or call it what you will.
Yeah.
Relatively young, right? And but there are some people that they carry on, fortunately or unfortunately. You know, they might think they're lucky that they didn't have a burnout or a breakdown, but actually they're going to work another 30 years in the same job, still chasing that same promotion, etc., etc. So I think we're the lucky ones.
Yeah, agreed. A lot of that identity was to constantly be productive, constantly make progress. So my idea, my definition of progress was a bit warped in that sense. I remember how I was constantly constantly trying to make progress, even with the work that we were doing. Feel it. Okay, I'll feel it for every minute of the day, or something. It's something really intense. Trying to again shift that workaholism from one point to another, but that's not the point anymore. So the challenge you gave me, which I found really, really difficult, was to stop everything you're doing and don't do anything.
Yeah. I remember that well. And the reason we had to give you that was because you were on the edge, like you say. You're crying a lot. You're crying every day, which can be okay, right? And it ultimately is okay. But when it becomes overwhelming and too much,
yeah,
you know, you were teetering on the edge, right, for a good few weeks. That challenge started to really slow it down for you.
Yeah, that's it.
It's amazing that you did that. And then it became easier, right?
It became easier. A lot of the actions that I took is to, I guess, becoming more aware of why I did the things I did. And through that self-awareness, I'm then able to catch myself like, oh, okay, well, am I wanting to make progress because of this old identity, or is it because it's a different type of progress now? There's a difference between real progress, which is going from constantly anxious, constantly nervous, constantly stressed, and having to work all the time to, oh, I don't have to do that anymore.
Wow.
I feel more at peace. I feel happier. I am a lot happier now. And there isn't that void anymore. Yes, I still want to do meaningful work, but the void isn't so big that it felt like it's not that all-consuming anymore.
So when you say the void, are you talking about the hole that many people have in themselves that they're searching to fill with success, money, but ultimately it's about love, right? It's about didn't get the love you needed, wanted at some level. And we're not blaming anyone. It happens. It's multi-generational normally. Parents didn't get the love they wanted from grandparents, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that hole, everyone's rushing around trying to fill or to not have to experience or feel it because it's really hard and painful. And it's the last place anyone ever wants to go. So how did we, in your opinion, fill that? What was the process to do that?
Sure. And that is a nice segue into what kind of person have I become? Yeah, what did I do? I started doing things that I thought I wouldn't do. So I'm now training for a national taekwondo championship. So I've never done taekwondo in my life.
You sounded very professional. I'm going to say I've been doing it 10 years.
No, well, that's what people think, but I've only really done it for 2 months. Yeah. And before that, it was always, oh, I've got no time for it. I've got no energy for it. I just want to rest. I just want to
go to work.
Go to work. Yeah. I lived to work. That was what I was. I started painting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I started going to Toastmasters, which is an interesting one because I thought I was a shy person. I thought I didn't want to be in the spotlight, but
here she is.
That's a completely different story. It's maybe a story for another time. Yeah, and then I started building my own website / blog just to tell people about my story. Yeah, and through doing these new things, I have then tested, shall we say, different identities. So, I tested these different identities to see what sticks. Mm-hmm. And we build up from there. We build up from, as we said, from ground up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With all these new things and more happiness, how is that table looking now if you fit into it, maybe with a fresh pair of eyes? What are the legs looking like now? How stable is it? How does it make you feel?
Sure. My health leg is very sturdy now because, well, Taekwondo, I go to Taekwondo 2 to 3 times a week, which is great. Great for exercising, great for health. I have been meditating every day, which helps with my mental health, helps to center myself. And I'm on the spiritual journey with you, with myself, of course, but with you. Yeah. And that has really built up the foundations for me to achieve is not quite the right word, but go on to the next level of what's next for me. Relationships wise, well, with my partner, we have a slightly different dynamic in a good way. We resolve conflicts so much better now. I'm back to talking to my dad, my sister, my brothers. I was the one who initiated talking to them regularly again. And I feel so much love. And of course, this is one thing that I wanted to mention. I started making friends outside of work. And it doesn't sound like a big thing to other people, but for me, for someone who has always worked and never gone out to other sort of events because too tired, can't do it, no time, making friends outside of work is pretty incredible, honestly.
I remember how excited you were when you made your first friend. It's crazy to say. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Beautiful. You made lots of friends though, right? Through taekwondo, everything else you do.
Yeah. Yeah. It's incredible. It's incredible. I feel like my worldview is expanding. I feel like I have now laid the foundations to move up to the next thing. And it was always, when I came to you at first, sorry to bring us back.
Not all.
When I came to you at first, to be honest, I wanted to find a job that really suits me. I chose not to go to therapy because it didn't feel right for me. I chose not to go for a career coach because I worked with one before and I felt that wasn't right for me either. It just felt like I had to work with you. So I started off with, I really want to find the next job.
Yeah, that was the intention. Yeah.
Yeah. But that has evolved.
Slightly.
Slightly, yes. But it is now broader than just, I want a better career. It has now become, I want a better life. I want to be happy. I want to be peaceful. I want to be good at my career and be happy beyond that. I want to be successful and be happy and have everything that I want. Well, you said.
You deserve it.
Yeah, yeah.
And you will have that.
Yeah. So I feel like even though it's only for a short period of time, I've gone through this metamorphosis, for the lack of a better word. And I've changed my worldview completely.
Yeah. Incredible. Could you imagine going back into that old box?
No. No.
It's just saying it for, really. I think that's very clear. When we were talking about it, we described it as a prison, like, really. It was a prison that he'd moved from the school prison to that prison to...
Yeah. Yeah.
It's an incredible journey, Emil.
Yeah.
So, life purpose. I shared on social media, had a very excited WhatsApp message this week from Jean saying, "Hi Adam, do you have 5 or 10 minutes available today? I think I found my life purpose." I was like, whoa, this is amazing. And a lot of emotion, a lot of excitement.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us, first of all, how did it come to you? And what was it? And how's it made you feel?
Yeah. So how it came to me, by the way, this was just 2 days ago.
Yeah. Perfect time for the video.
This was just 2 days ago. It came to me when I was doing my regular morning meditation. So yes, there is a lot of benefit doing meditation in the morning. I did a visualization exercise where in my mind, I pictured my life as a movie. And obviously I was the main character. And it's about what am I doing at that point in time in the future, etc., etc. And it came to a scene, whether that is real or not. It came to a scene where I became a taekwondo champion in the Olympics. By the way, I've just started for 2 months.
Started with 2 months. Nick is the Olympic right now, the time you're filming, so it's topical.
Yeah, so maybe that's why I had that vision. But so in that visualization, everyone was chanting my name and everyone's really happy for me. And as I came off the podium, the interviewer came and asked, "So, Jean, do you want to say something to your supporters and your fans?" what's that one line you would say to them? And I said, it is never too late to start. And that was when I knew that my life purpose is to inspire others that it is never too late to start. Of course, it still feels really big. How am I going to get there? I have no idea. Okay, well, do I have to do something really out of this world, groundbreaking, be the next Elon Musk? Something along those lines. Oh, like what? And then that's when I texted you. I need to tell you about this. I don't know what to do with myself.
But you knew, because life purpose has a very distinct feeling to it.
Yes.
It's a quality that you can't compare to anything else in my experience.
Yes. Sure.
You knew categorically, this is it.
Yeah. Of course, I had pushback from my partner. He was like, but you cry all the time during a meditation. Okay. But this is different this time. It's different. Yes, I had a lot of tears, but it's a complicated mix of different emotions. I was happy. I was relieved. I was light. I was peaceful. I felt that I now have a direction, but at the same time, I'm getting slapped with a lot of fears, doubts, and worries. Like, can I achieve this? What if I'm not up for it? What if I fail? What if this? What if that? So it's complicated. It's very different from the other times that I was crying after meditation or with working with you.
Yeah. And how does it compare to the old kind of drive to go to work and to build a career?
I would say that I now know that I don't need to keep pushing. That if there is something that comes up that feels right, then I would go for it. I haven't told you this, but yesterday I applied to an internship. Yeah. It has to do with building strategies and products. And that feels right for me at this point in my life. So it feels different. But previously I would have gone through a very big exercise of revamping my CV, take 2 days to do that, and then crafting the best, perfect cover letter ever. I was that person, but it didn't feel like I had to do that much work. And also, I'm not placing a lot of emphasis on the outcome. If I get an interview, that's great. If I don't, that's great too.
Yeah, you're still good enough.
Yeah.
And if it triggers you, it'll bring up what it needs to, and then you'll work through that.
Yeah.
And it'll make you stronger.
That's right.
Yeah. Great. That's a sea change from how you used to.
Exactly. I used to be that person who, like, even at the smallest thing, I would make it about me. Oh, I'm such a failure. I'm so useless. I'm good for nothing, etc., etc. I would give myself those kind of labels that are not helpful. But now, those events don't define who I am. And that's a very big and profound shift.
Dramatically different. Yeah.
Mm.
And you've started painting.
Yes.
And was it right? Did you say that you were not an artist and that you weren't a good artist or something?
That's
where we
right.
started?
So we have this thing in Singapore where in primary school we have to do an art class, and teachers would grade the art class. Well, we used to grade everything. Every student was graded based on how good they are in drawing, sketching, painting, etc. So my art teacher failed me, and ever since then, so that I remember that quite vividly. I was 6 years old, 6 or 7 years old. I failed that art class, and I immediately put that label on myself, saying, I'm bad at art. I'm not creative.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do this. I'm going to do something a lot more logical, a lot more tangible, maybe. And that label has been with me for however long time, close to 30 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder what other labels we carry, right? That we're not even thought about. Because, we only thought of this a week or two ago, right?
Yeah.
So there's going to be others, all of which can be changed, which is such a crazy thought when you think about it. Because we took it on, so we can also let it go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who's to say, where you saw the previous interview with Adrienne talking about her love of dogs, right? She now has gone from hating dogs to loving dogs. We heard the story of writing a book, and the book resisting writing the book, and then now writing the book. Actually, can it be a good book? Yes, it can. Having cleared loads of stuff, can it be a great book, like an industry-defining kind of great read? Now she's working through to clear that. So this is exactly the same thing. So who's to say you can't go from? I mean, how would you categorize yourself as an artist now, out of interest?
Well, I would say I am starting out.
Okay.
I started going to an art class, and I heard something that I needed to hear, and I needed to hear that when I was 6. So my new art teacher said that it's okay that your art doesn't look good now. That your art looks like it's drawn or painted by a 6-year-old. For goodness sake, you stopped at 6 years old.
Oh, wow.
That's why your art looks like it belongs to a 6-year-old. But all you have to do is to keep doing it. And embrace the mistakes, and embrace everything about it.
Wow. What a message. Wow, I could see why you need to hear that. So you described yourself at the moment as you're a beginner.
Yes.
But who's to say once you practice, obviously it's practice as well. There's always the practical side. You've got to do the work and practice and paint a bit more. Then you get to a better level. And then who's to say you can't get to a state where you believe that you're an amazing artist?
Exactly.
You can, by the way, for 100%. And then you can apply that across the board to anything.
It's never too late to start.
I've heard that somewhere before. I really like that. Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, we talked about blocks, and there's something I want to share about. There is this belief, I had this limiting belief about having to work extremely hard for any sort of result.
That's a limiting belief. Wow.
Yeah. And we talked about Taekwondo and how, and actually I would consider myself quite lucky to be double promoted. So I was 2 months ago, I only started this 2 months ago. So obviously I started from white belt state, and I've been double promoted to yellow belt. So
is that usual?
According to my instructor, only 10%. There's a 10% chance of getting that. But for my exam, I was the only one who got double promoted. I'm not saying that I'm great or anything, but the thing that I'm trying to say is that I now start to look at things from the point of view of fun. Am I going to have fun doing this? Am I having to push really hard? Can I prioritize fun in everything I do? And that was what I did. Of course, 2 weeks before the exam, I spoke to you, I had a mini meltdown and I had anxiety attacks. I really want to get the double promotion because that was the old identity. Like, I really need this. Yeah, I really need this. But then we talked about it, I worked through it, and actually, no, Jean, you don't need it. You're doing this for fun. Can you let yourself do this just for fun? And so I did. So I let go of all expectations. I applied for just one belt above, had zero expectations, had fun anyways, went to class anyways, didn't over practice, and I still had the same outcome. So
Wow, what a lesson.
exactly, that is testament to it's not to say, oh, don't work hard. Work hard, but working hard doesn't necessarily have to feel like hard work. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember early in your Taekwondo journey, I mean, we're still early, we ain't too much, but you shared with me that you'd set your goal on becoming a black belt. So that was another example, right, of where the old Gene was trying to get in there. Right, we're gonna get right to black belt. Yeah. I can imagine you doing like the fastest time ever. You'd have been there 3 years or something.
Yeah.
But you were able to flip that to actually, no, I'm just going to do this to have fun. And if I get black belt, great.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
Oh, I will become a black belt. It's just a matter of time. I'm not pushing it. I'm not consciously forcing the outcome.
I can feel the difference.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're going to the Olympics, you're definitely going to be a black belt. I mean, what a story. The Olympics are on now, right? 2024 Olympics in Paris. 2028, where is it? Russia or somewhere, is it? Where is that? The next one?
I'll be in the US.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Jean doesn't even know where the next Olympics is for sure. And yet she's going to be there winning a gold. And we're going to watch this back. This is going to be replayed over and over. The uncertainty in her voice, the giggly, we're playing it down a little bit. And she'll be there on the podium with the gold.
Oh, thank you. You have a lot of faith in me.
And you can do it if you choose to.
Yeah, exactly.
And look, again, there's no pressure. You could make it into the big thing. This could just be to help you realize, actually, I'm going to do it for fun. And if I'm able to go, then that would be great. Let go of needing to get there. That would be quite powerful. We might need to do a bit of work on that.
Yeah.
Let go of it completely. Then it shifts the old energy. And then it's like, I'm really going for it because I love doing it. I'm going 5 times a week. I love it. How different would that be?
Yeah. Yeah. I saw that coming.
You would seem gentle with you. You should have taken me now. So, is there anything else you would like to say about your journey, what you've experienced? If there is, now would be a great time. Other than that, I'd love to finish on, for anyone watching who's considering not working with me, yes, but more importantly, doing the inner work, starting in the spiritual journey to help shift what you believe is possible for you to start to change how you feel about yourself. Anyone can do it. It's not unique to Jean or I. It's there. It's available to everyone. It's not that difficult. And once you take the first step or two, it gets a lot easier. And Jean has changed so much in 5 months. It's dramatic. And you can see already she's heading off in such a different, fun direction. I mean, it's an amazing story. So yeah, so if there's anything else you'd like to share, or if not, what would you say to people thinking about coming on this journey?
It's going to feel very big. And it's going to feel very scary. Your mind is going to tell you that it's not a good idea because, rightly so, it is trying to protect you from harm. But on the other side, it's something else, something very beautiful, and something that is so much more than what you are or what you think you are. So it's definitely worth taking that leap of faith, because don't worry, you won't die. You will somehow get to the other side and you'll be fine.
Thank you, Jean, the fun machine. We love it. Thank you, Jean. That was really beautiful. Appreciate it. Appreciate
Thank you
it so much.
Thank you for having me.
All the best.